new videos. So today we are going to be looking at plotting graphs in Excel. So what are graphs? Graphs are just a visual representation of data. So visual representation of data is what we call graph. We also call them charts. Okay, the general name is charts, not like the usual texting, but C-H-A-R-T, charts. All right. So in Microsoft Excel, one way to analyze data is to visually represent that data, okay, such that one can just look at it and just deduce a meaning from the data because it is now visual. Now, in Microsoft Excel, to plot every form of charts, we have to go from the insert because you're going to insert the chart, obviously. So from the insert menu, you can see different charts types, from bar charts to pie charts to scatter plots and rest of them, even pivot charts, which we'll come to in subsequent class. All right. So now look at this data here. This is a sales record, for instance. Sales record for 3 different kinds of products over a period of 1 year. Now, if I want to visually represent the entire data, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the entire data. Then I'll click on Insert. Then I would like to use this recommended chart. Excel has a way of automatically suggesting best kind of charts for you to use, as you can see. Now, this is a line chart. This is a different one. And these are all different charts representing the same information in different ways. So let's assume I want to use the very first one, which is a line chart. I'll just click on it and okay. Our chart is out. Yes. Now, in this box here, you can see something like chart title. This is just where you format your chart. I can say sales for, let's say, 2024. All right, as a title. Now, once you click on a chart, you see a plus button. This is like to chart elements, where you can check for chart elements. What are chart elements? Things like legends, things like titles, data label, and the rest. So I'm going to add axis title. It's always good to add axis to your charts. So on the y-axis, we have sales. While on the x-axis, of course, this is time, and our time is in months. All right. So this is a very fine chart we have plotted. As you can see, product A is presented by blue color, product B by red, and product C by green. Here is just to separate the different columns. And you can see that the topmost one is product A, showing that product A had performed B and C. All right. Now I'm done plotting this graph. All I have to do now is this is the first graph. Every graph is a form of analysis. So I'm going to cut it with Control X, create a new sheet. You create a new sheet by just clicking on plus. So I've named this sheet charts. So I will just paste this here, for instance. Now I'm back to my data. Let's say I want to plot a different kind of charts. I just want to see the performance of only product A all throughout the year. So I'll just highlight months and product A. Go back to my inserts, then click on recommended charts. As you can see, it's giving me this line, but I want to use bars this time. So can see bar. Can even go to all chart options and maybe pick the one I prefer. Maybe I prefer this one that has different colors for each month. All right. Then I'll click on OK. So this is just product A. Product A. That's the chart title. Again, I'll click on this chart elements and add data axis. Now, see what happens when I add data label. If you click on data label, you see the data points appearing on each bar, telling you what exactly they are. All right. Then maybe I can add no, not that, axis title rather. Yes. The y-axis represents sales. While the x-axis, this is like months. All right. So you can see this is how the product A performed over the year 2024. So I'll cut it, come back here and paste it. Now, as you can see, these are two different graphs from the same data. The first one is sales for 2024, which shows the three products, while the second graph here is just for one product. I can also plot for just two products by just, let's say I highlight months and product A, I'll hold my control. If I want to add any other one, let's say I want to compare A and C, I'll just hold my control, then click and drag to select C while leaving B. Still go to insert chart type. You see, it's still giving you different options here. Maybe I want to use this one that shows their range. Yeah. Remember, I can explore more chart options from all charts. There are even some 3D charts. If you click, you see some that are in 3D, maybe something like this. Okay. All right. So you see product C is way smaller in maybe sales than product A. So this one now is sales for product A and no, product A and C. All right. Now again, I will just maybe cut it to this place and somewhere down here, just paste it. Now I've been able to plot three different graphs which are trying to explain three different things using the same data set. All right. So that's just basically what it takes to plot a graph. Now let's move further to other kind of data. Look at this. This is like logistic data. You see distance, fuel use, time, costs. Now pay attention to the top row. You can see that distance is in kilometer, fuel is in liters, time is in hours, and cost is amount in naira. You dare not try to plot just like what we did earlier. I cannot just come highlight this entire data, go to insert, and then I want to plot a chart. I may not get a very good chart. Can you see? Yes, because one quantity is definitely going to be higher than others. Now, you can only plot them individually. Like, for instance, I want to compare the distances between these routes. So I'll highlight route and distance, then go to insert chart type. You see, we have a better chart here now. Maybe this one. Okay, so this chart is just for distance by each of these routes, okay? Enugu, Port Harcourt, Kano, Enugu, and the rest of it. Now, it's like your y-axis has now turned to the s-axis. The frequency is now on the x-axis, all right? It's because of the chart type we picked. If I go back to that insert, recommended charts, I can go to more charts. You see, we have the vertical chart here now. This one even use different colors to present them, so I can use this. This is also another form of chart. Now, if you look at this one that I've plotted here, you could see some things that look like standard deviation bars, all right? How did we do that? I'm going to illustrate it with this current chart. Now, when you come to this chart element, for instance, you're going to see error bars, okay? Now, if you just activate the error bars on the charts, yeah, the error bars are supposed to show. So if I come here, maybe standard deviation. Why is it not displaying? It's supposed to display the error bar. Okay. Let me just try it with this other one that's already showing the error bar. Let's compare. Now this one was plotted for fuel. The error bars were added from here. As you can see, the error bar is active. Can you see that? Now I click to add it. Yeah. So this is error bar. You can go there and select even more like standard deviation. Perhaps it was because of the chart type we use, this one with multiple colors. The error bar didn't work on that one. So the regular line bars. Now, why we add this error bar sometimes is just for analysis sake, okay? Especially in statistics, sometimes you want to look at the standard deviation, a value that the data range cannot exceed. So it's trying to tell you that these values cannot exceed each of these standard deviation bars, all right? Now, let's say I want to plot for cost. I'll just highlight the first row, hold my control key, come down here and highlight costs, skipping every other thing here. You go to insert, recommended charts. You see the chart is out. Maybe I pick the one I prefer. Can even use pie charts, okay? Can use a pie chart and okay. Now the good thing about pie charts is when you come to these elements, you can just add data into it. If you still want to add the percentage, which is very important in pie chart, you click inside the chart itself. Then if you right click, you see format data area, okay? Now this format data area also works for every other chart type. This dialog box is going to be out here or the pane. So you can see, you can add category name. Can you see that now? It's just formatting, but I don't want that. I just want to add percentage, yes. So that I can see what percentage of the pie that each particular route is taking. If you look carefully, you find out that Lagos to Abuja is the most expensive when it comes to costs here because it's occupying about 24% of the pie. So that is it with charts. Now, it all depends on what you want to achieve, what is the goal of the analysis. That will determine the kind of charts that you can use. If you go further, you see other forms of data, like this is from agriculture. So data from any field can be analyzed. Now, these are all in tons. Because they're in tons, you can plot them together. Their units are the same, so and just put them up in one chart. Yes. Now I like what this is doing here. Now, if you plot this together, I see it's separating each product, rice, maize, cassava, yam, for each of these. So the colors now represent the tons, okay? 2022, 2023, 2024. So it shows you the performance of rice across the 3 years and maize and every other product. Remember, if I just want to find out how maybe 2022 performed with respect to these crops, I'll just highlight that, go to insert, charts, and okay. Now, this chart is just telling you how 2022 has performed. Remember, I can add data label, can also do other forms of analysis in the chart. Now, if you move on to academic data, you see scores and all that. So once you highlight and go to charts, these are great, so they are equivalent. They are all over 100. Once you go to insert recommended charts, you see options. Yes, options are going to be ours. I think I like this one. Maybe something like this, you pick it and you have a chart, all right? For those who are in environmental sciences, you understand water analysis. Now, in water analysis, some of these things are water parameter, what we call physicochemical parameter. Now, you see that they are not of the same unit. You have pH, you have turbidity rather. I cannot come now plot pH and turbidity. It's not going to be a very good chart. But I can plot the samples against pH. Just highlight that. Come here, insert recommended charts. Yes, I'm going to get a fine chart. Can I even use this line chart if I want? There are different options. Yeah. Or you go to all chart if you have a particular chart in mind. Maybe I want to plot a 3D chart. Yeah, maybe this one. And okay. So this is how pH performed. I can add data label. So this is how pH performed across the 10 sample points. Now you find out that sample point 9 has the highest amount of pH with pH of 7.4, while sample point 4 had the least of pH. Maybe one is acidic, the other one is basic. Yes. So once you go to insert and go to recommended chart, you see possible chart options you can use. Now, because we are on a chart, you can see the chart design is out up here. You can also select different styles, okay? Different styles of charts. If you like this darker one here, you can use it maybe for presentation purpose. You just want something sleek, you can use this. All right. But it's always good for it to be as clear as possible. Okay, so moving on, we'll have this one here, environmental data. Similar charts can be plotted here. As long as the parameters are the same, you can plot them together. But if they're not the same, you have to plot them individually. Like this is temperature, this is humidity, this is rainfall, wind speed. You dare not try to plot them together. You plot temperature alone. Maybe I want to plot that of humidity. I just select this location, hold my control, and then come and select humidity. Go back to my inserts. Then recommended charts. Yes, these are charts here. Maybe if I want to use line, I can even use line, just a line. But this line chart is best for time series data where you have multiple data points, all right? You can see the behavior that Oyibo is high, somewhere like Thai, humidity is low. Yeah, something like that. All right. Now, in survey data, I'm going to take some time because survey data is a whole lot. What you actually have on this table, this is a frequency table, is already obtained from result of a survey, okay? This is like demographic data where you have age group, different age groups and their frequency. Now, if I want to plot a graph of only age group, all I have to do is, yes, I can just select this. Let me try. Remember, I can't add total, just the age group. Go to insert, recommended charts. Yes, it's plotted. As you can see, these are the different age groups. Mainly looking at it, you find out that most of the respondents fall into age 26 to 34. Can you see that? It's very clear. Then what if I want to plot for the next category, which is something like sex, which is male and female? It's best I use something like pie chart for this. Let's go to insert. I think they suggest, yeah, I see a pie chart. Pie chart is good for something like this. Remember, the first step is for you to organize your data. Before you can start any form of analysis, what we are doing now is visual representation of data. So this is visual analysis, all right? The first is to tabulate your data, make sure it is thoroughly cleaned. There's no missing value that is going to affect your final result. So when all that has been done, you can start your analysis, all right? Now, for the next one, remember these parameters, you cannot plot them together because they are saying different things. This is like parental status. I go back to my charts, recommended charts. Okay, maybe I use this chart. Those who use Google Form will be familiar with this kind of chart because Google Form has the ability of converting your survey data into graphs, similar graphs as this one here. So that is it with survey data. Now, the last but not least data we are going to be looking at is time series data. This one is usually where you have multiple data points. For instance, you can see this data. This is GDP, gross domestic products, and it's from 1981 to 2022. Now, you want to see the pattern to discover if there is a trend in data points, time series data. You subject them to graphical representation. So I'm going to highlight year and only GDP. Okay, then let's go to insert and see recommended charts. Of course, it's going to give you a line. Can you see that? Yes, to give you a line. And it's best to represent these ones with line graph because they are time series. If you look at this, you find out that the GDP is always rising and falling and all that. And somewhere around 2014, this is Nigerian GDP, by the way, we had GDP at its best peak so far. And you can see this sharp fall here showing you recession. Whenever the GDP is falling, it means that the economy is going into recession. We'll come to interpretation of some of these results in subsequent classes, all right? What we're just doing in this class is just how to plot charts. Okay, maybe I'll just keep this GDP charts. Maybe I want to plot the next one. which is COP. COP stands for crude oil price. So I'll still highlight the year. They are all subject to year because the time here is in years. Then I'll highlight the COP. Remember, I'm not plotting it together with GDP because I don't know their units. GDP should be in maybe $billion, why this one may be. So some of them are rates. COR may be a rate, exchange rates maybe in billions or so. So just come back here, insert recommended charts. Please always leverage on using recommended chart because that way Excel will suggest the best form of charts for each data you're supplying. So since I'm using line charts, I'll be consistent. So I'll use this. That's my first chart. Oh, okay, this is my GDP. And then you can as well plot any other column. But remember, you cannot plot multiple columns, all right? So that is it for this class. All you have to do is, you can even go back to the previous data we've worked with, just see how you can visually represent the data using graph, maybe sales reports, you know. And mind you, you can only represent numerical data as in charts, okay? You cannot represent strings. Remember the work where we were trying to assign values using the if statement. You cannot assign that kind of data to a chart. Excel can only understand numerical results, okay? Just like when we are talking about survey. Now, remember, this is a frequency table here. So those between age 18 and 25, they are 72. So this 72 is a count from the survey that was distributed, okay? So remember, you have to convert your data to numerals. It must be numeric before you subject it to any form of charts. So that is it for our class tonight. And I'm going to be providing these worked examples so that you can also practice. I will give you a set of instruction of what exactly I want you to do with this data, the kind of graphs I want you to plot. And yes, that is going to be it. So thank you for tuning in. More videos are coming. And I believe you by the end of these 4 weeks, if you're asked, can you use Excel? You boldly say yes. And that raises your confidence level. So I promise you, just make sure you take your exercises and return them. Let me see what you're working on. Kudos to everyone who is turning in their practicals. It's really good and is encouraging to us also. So I'm going to make this data available, and even this video is going to be available. So all you have to do is, while you're practicing, if you have any challenge, make reference to the video. You can also come to my DM. I'm always available. So that is it for tonight. Thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye.